Welcome to Soup Crafts. I am Soup. Today we're going to open door number 3 of our 2024 Crafty Advent Calendar from Spellbinders. Door number 3 is a flower set. Let's check this out. Looks like a 10-piece die set. Looks like we've got a flower. I think this one stacks. We've got some centers. This looks like some petals for probably this flower. Oh, that might be for these. No, I'm not sure. There's some leaves, and there's a stem, and some more leaves. Well, all right, I'm going to think on this for a little while, and when I come back, we'll make a project. I'm back with a project for our door 3 die set. We're going to continue on with our artist trading card series, and this is what we're going to make today. In addition to the dies that come in the set, I will also be using this die from a card kit that I received from Spellbinders in probably 2022 or 2023. We will also be using this stamp set from Tim Holtz. It comes with a stencil as well, but we're not using the stencil. It is THMM162, and we will be using the stamp that says Shine Brightly. We will also be using this stamp set from May called Light of the World, and we will be using the singular candle. We will also be using this stencil from Hero Arts called Brick Wall Stencil. To start out, I have a kind of, I don't know what color this is, kind of a taupey color. It's not white, it's kind of an off-white. And I've got my candle and my sentiment lined up on my stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on there. I have found that I like it best when it's stamped twice. The candle usually is okay, but the sentiment, I definitely prefer it being stamped on there at least twice. I want to be careful not to push down too much on the candle because it does get ink in the middle, and if you push down too hard, you can get that in there. We don't want that. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I have a piece of gray heavy cardstock. This is a 110-pound Michael's Recollections cardstock. It's gray. I don't know if there's a name for it. It's gray. And I'm going to line that up on my mini Misty on my sticky mat that I have. And then I'm going to line my stencil up on top of that. And I'm going to use this to hold down my stencil. Now, I've been using my blue brush. I'm just going to use what's on there, and I'm just going to go around the edges. The middle doesn't have to be done because our candle will be there.
Did you know that before there were printed doors to open or chocolates to find, the Advent calendar was an oral and physical tradition born in 19th century Germany?
I'm not very good at subtle when it comes to inking, so it's fairly dark, but that's fine. That's how I like it. Next, I'm going to cut out my candle. Unsurprisingly, I got smudgy when I took this out, but I think that it'll be okay because I think that it'll be outside of where I'm going to cut it. So I'm just going to stick that on there and run this through my die cutting machine. This die cuts out a very thin frame, and so I've already gone and cut out my gold frame. This is actually just gold poster board. I found a pack of poster board for $2.49 for 10 sheets at Hobby Lobby. I purchased that and cut it down into sizes that I could use. It was like 11 by 17, I think. Anyways, I'm just going to glue the gold frame on top of this frame that I cut out of the basic beige colored. Is it beige? Maybe it's beige. I don't know. Whatever color this is. Eggshell. This is pretty easy to line up. I just start with these corners and try to get those lined up first. And then I just line up the rest of it. Next, I'm going to cut out my sentiment. And I'm just going to cut this out because I don't care if this is straight. I'm not going for straight on this. I want this to be a little bit whimsical, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but it certainly doesn't need to be perfect. This one's pretty good, but whatever. Next, I'm going to go around my sentiment with a gold metallic Sharpie. If you want this to be subtle, you can just go along the edge like this. And then you get a nice thin even border all the way around. But I want a bolder border than that. So I'm going to go on top of the cardstock, and this won't be straight because I'm shaky. We're going to call that charm. I've got a nice shaky charm to me. So there we go. While we've got our little turnabout out, I'm going to go ahead and ink a little bit of yellow around the flame. I'm going to use scattered straw. So I just want to go around the flame and a little bit on the top of the candle.
Families didn't have a specific item they bought. Instead, they transformed their homes into a countdown.
And that's good enough. Now you could leave it just like that, but I want the wick colored in. So I'm going to take a memento marker and I'm just going to darken up that wick. But it would be fine to leave it without. Okay, I have cut out and glued together a lot of our little flowers. I've got some that I haven't put stems on right here. And then I've got the little buds, which I glued onto the stem that they belong to. But then I also took some of those little flowers and glued those onto the buds because I thought that was a cute little trio. And then I also took some of these tri-leaf foliage pieces and I glued flowers onto those as well. I used this photo paper method to do all of my flowers and my foliage, and I will insert a clip of how I did that. So I'm playing with my Tim Holtz watercolor pencils and some photo paper. I got a bunch of these packs at a garage sale a while back. I didn't pay a lot for them. I have been taking these and using the watercolor pencils on them. Here's what I'm going to do. I am first going to get some water on my little mat here. I just put this little mat on here upside down and it kind of curls up, which makes me feel better about where the water is going to go on my desk. But I'm just going to get some water in there and then I'm going to pick some colors and I think I'm going to go with some greens this time. This is peeled paint and I'm just mixing that into the water a bit. Sasha Reed did a method where she used bubbles on photo paper and it looked really cool, and I did try that, but it did not work for me in the same way that it worked for her, which is okay. So I'm just kind of going off script here and doing my own thing, running amok, you might say. And then when it's all soppy like this, I'm just going to go ahead and put some directly on my paper. Here is twisted citron. I'll get some of that on here too.
The most common method was the chalk stroke. Starting on December 1st, parents would draw 24 chalk lines on a wooden door or a cupboard.
I want more than just these two. Greens, I guess I could use some cracked pistachio.
Each evening, a child was allowed to erase one line. It was a simple, stark visual. As the white marks disappeared, the arrival of Christmas grew closer. It was the first time the abstract waiting of the season was turned into something a child could physically see and touch.
And then I'm going to take my brush, and I just have a water pen brush here, but you could use, I think, any brush. And I'm just going to dab on here. I don't want strokes. I just want to dab it on. And wherever I kind of scribbled on the page, I'm dabbing extra over the top of that because I want that to be runny and drippy as well so that it starts to react with the water. And I want to keep my photo paper at an angle so that it gets drippy. I want it to be drippy. And then I'll rotate it to drip in different directions.
In more devout households, the countdown wasn't just about marking time, it was about earning the holiday through service. This led to the tradition of the Advent Manger.
I think I need more pigment in my water on my tray. This is lighter than I would like it to be. So I'm going to get some more Peeled paint for now.
An empty wooden crib would be placed in the center of the home, and for every prayer said or good deed performed, a child was allowed to place a single piece of soft straw into the manger. The goal was to have a bed full of hay by Christmas Eve so the baby Jesus would have a soft place to sleep. It turned the 24 days of December into a month-long lesson in kindness and preparation.
Now, I'm not trying to make some spectacular background here. I'm going to use these to die cut, and so I'm looking for leaves. I did some pinkish purple ones for petals. I did some red for petals. I did one green one that I think might be good for animals, but I don't know. I'm not making any animals right now, so I'm just going to continue to dab this on. I want my photo paper to have a bit more variation in color, and right now it's looking all very similar. I'll start with some Mermaid Lagoon. And then I'm going to pick up some more of my colors and just start blobbing the water on. I've been watching a lot of watercolor painting lately. I've really been enjoying it. I don't know if I'm quite ready to try anything real yet.
If you're enjoying this video or find inspiration in this project, please let me know by tapping that thumbs up icon.
Now, wherever it just seems like it's kind of white, I'm going to try to hit it up with some of this green. And whenever it starts to pool at one side or another, I'm going to rotate it. But if there's some white left over, that's okay, because at the end of all this, I think I'm going to go back and take some dye ink and blend over the top of it anyway. So we've got kind of variation in color, but then we do have a consistent background. Wherever it's white, we'll pick up that dye. And then I'll pick up another piece of paper, and I'm just going to start up here at the top. I'm going to add more pigment in there. And I'm going to get out some of my other greens. I'm going to put in some mowed lawn and some evergreen bough, some crushed olive, some peacock feathers, and some faded jeans.
While some were erasing chalk or gathering straw, others were using light to track the days. In the mid-1800s, it was common to see Advent trees or Advent clocks. These weren't actual clocks, but rather a simple stand with 24 candles. In 1839, a theologian named Johann Heinrich Wichern took this a step further. He ran a mission school for poor children in Hamburg, and they asked him every single day if Christmas had arrived yet. To help them visualize the wait, he took a large cartwheel and mounted 20 small red candles and 4 large white ones. This Wichern-Wreath was the true ancestor of the modern Advent wreath, providing a glowing roadmap through the December darkness.
Even though I added all those colors, they seem to all mixed together. Now, when I did it with the pink and the purple, they did not seem to mix together. And so the one that I did in pink and purple has both pink and purple on it. I find it interesting that the greens are not reacting the same way. Maybe I should have just used yellows and blues. I'm going to stop there on this one and just set it aside to dry. And then when they're dry, I'm going to come back and I'm going to spray them with some of the mica sprays. Okay, all of my photo papers are dry now. And so now I'm just going to spritz them with some of the mica sprays and or stains. Keep in mind that I am not looking for beautiful backgrounds here. I'm just looking for paper that I can cut die cuts out of. So I'm going to have some foliage and I'm going to have some petals. That's it. I'm going to start with Kitsch Flamingo. I'm going to add in some peacock feathers. On my green ones, I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness. I think on this one, I might add in also a little bit of peacock feathers. Now I'm just setting these aside on a tray to dry. This part is the hardest part for me because I am not a good flower arranger. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna make it up as I go. You'll notice my cards have a butterfly on them. I just found that these bottom leaves to me looked a lot like butterfly wings. So I took some seedless preserves and I took some chipped sapphire and I kind of blended them a little bit together over the top of one of those pieces of paper. So I've got one here. Now keep in mind that you have to cut out 2 of those flower petals for every butterfly that you're going to make. So if I arrange my flowers something like this, then I will put a butterfly over on this side in this direction. And I'm trying not to overthink these flowers too much, so I'm gonna just go with this. Because this photo paper has kind of a plastic back, I am using my more expensive glue.
By the late 1800s, these handmade traditions began to merge with the rising printing industry. Before the door was ever invented, there were Advent clocks, printed on cardboard with a movable hand, and religious scraps, small colorful pictures that children would glue into a book each day. People were looking for a way to make the countdown more permanent and artistic. We were right on the doorstep of the very first printed calendar.
Okay, now for the butterfly, I'm going to set the wings down where I want them. And I'm going to take a micron pen. This is my 05 micron pen. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw in the head. And I'm just going to make kind of an oval shape for that. And then I'm going to draw in my antenna. And then I'm just going to draw a line down the middle to about where I think the body should end. Now I'll go ahead and move my wings out of the way, and I'm just going to fatten up my body. And I'm just going to do that by making it into a sort of leaf shape. So I'll just start out and round it up at the top, and then I'll taper it down to the bottom. And then I'm just going to color that in. Now I'm a little disconnected from my body, so I'm going to attach my head just by drawing some little lines in there. And I'm I'm not worried about getting it completely black. So if there's some lines showing, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, now for the wings, I'm going to grab my wing by the top with my little squeezer here. And I'm going to do my best to reline those up. And I'm just going to put them on there where I feel like it looks good. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And I'm going to try to get this one lined up pretty evenly with the first one. It's easier for me if I turn this around. I think that looks pretty good. I've got a lot of flowers left over that I can use on other projects now. I didn't know how many I would need because I'm not a good flower arranger. Now I'm just going to cut off this stem. I know a lot of people like to turn that over from the back, but I find that I get a closer cut if I go from the front, at least on this project. Now I have found that I can actually just place this right back inside of here. And this is especially useful for the ones where the butterfly kind of hangs over. This one, the butterfly is not hanging over so much. So I probably don't need to do it on this one, but I am going to use my tweezers to hold it together. Because this is just paper to paper, I'm just going to use my regular old school glue.
If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe so you can always find me in your subscription list.
Okay, then I want this lined up pretty close to the top because I want to make sure that I have enough room for my sentiment at the bottom. And then I'm just going to try to center it and have it be straight at the bottom. And I'm using the bricks as kind of a guide. I don't know if the bricks are perfectly straight, but it will look more straight if it's aligned with the bricks, even if the bricks are a little crooked. Okay, and now I just need to add my sentiment.
I really like the way the petals, foliage, and butterflies turned out, but I think if I make more of this watercolor photo paper, I'll use a shallow container to mix my paints. Tell me in the comments, is this a technique you would want to try, or would you rather skip the mess?
What I really like about doing these ATCs and doing a bunch of them at a time is that you get to go through this iterative process. This was my iterative process. I started out with this one, and then I thought, now that I like it, but it needs something else. So I thought maybe if I put it on gray. So I did that, and I tried that, and I liked it, but I still thought it needs something else. When I did the brick background, I really liked it. But then I iterated again by adding on a butterfly, and I really liked it with the butterfly. Hopefully he doesn't fly too close to the flame. Here are the cards that I made after the iteration of adding the butterfly. Here's the one that we made together today. You'll notice that I did not use any of these flowers once I put the butterfly on because I was afraid it would be too obvious that that was supposed to be a flower and not a butterfly. I don't know. Do you think that you would know? We know. What if I put that one on there? Anyway, here's the card that we made together today. Remember to shine brightly, but don't get too close to that flame. Thanks for watching. Bye.